Fucking hell. I'm going. Insolent whelp. Gone weak at the knees, have you?
What was that noise?
What's the matter? Come on!
I'm going to enjoy this.
What's that?
Hey, who's there?
Come here, lily liver. What?
Is someone there?
You made a mistake. What's going on there? Hey, who's there? You're dead.
What was that?
You get what for? I'll slaughter you!
Gone weak at the knees, have you? You call that combat?
You're dead!
Well, that's the end of the era.
I'm gonna enjoy this. You call that combat? Come here, lily liver.
Gone weak at the knees, have you? No more fooling around.
Is that the best you can do? Is that all you've got? You call that combat?
What was that?
I never. The pig turns up willingly for the slaughter. Be sorry for shooting. Come here, lily liver. I'll slaughter you.
What's the matter? Come on! Gone weak at the knees, have you? You're dead!
I've got you, you dog. You'll soon be sorry for shooting.
Bring it on! You'll get what for? Is that all you've got? What's the matter? Come on! So it was you, you son of a bitch? Is that the best you can do?
I bear good tidings.
Already?
They're out of the way. I ran into them on my travels.
Really? That's great, but
What?
I'm afraid to go back to the farm. I ran away, and God knows what they'll think about it all. I don't know if they'll even want to talk to me.
Just try, and you'll see whether they drive you away or not. But if you explain it to them, they're sure to understand.
I suppose you're right. Thank you for your help, and God bless you.
Damn!
Be a bit more careful.
What is it then?
It's about this. I challenge you to a duel, sir.
What?
You heard? Don't try to wriggle out of it. Let's get to it.
I'm not in the habit of fighting to the death with fellows I meet by chance on the road. Tell me first what this is all about.
What's happening is I'm challenging you to a duel. You disgusting man. I spit in your face.
Eager, aren't you? Who are you, anyway?
I am Sir Oldbram of Lossany.
Pleased to meet you, Sir Oldbram. So, what are you after?
My mother sent me out to get some experience. She's obsessed with tales of chivalrous knights. In short, she sent me off looking for some virgin to save, and to win glory in combat. But I have to admit, I'm not very good at it.
That's a damn foolish idea. You ought to go home.
I'd love to. But what shall I tell Mama?
Tell her to forget about her Tristans and Amadises and leave you alone. Not only will you have peace, but no doubt your subjects will take you more seriously too.
That's easier said than done. I'm not sure I have the courage for that.
Well, you have the courage to accost wayfarers and challenge them to duels. Surely you can talk to your mother.
Well, I suppose so. Thank you for your encouraging words.
Glad to be of service, sir.
I only hope some Christian soul will give me a proper burial, and how long my flesh... Never mind. I'll wait.
Well, well. Look who deigns to grace us with his presence.
I was looking for that boy, and
And you didn't bother telling anyone.
I had to follow the trail before it went cold.
And what if some bandit skewered you and left you for dead? We'd never find you because you told no one where you were going. How would I explain that to Sir Radzig, eh? I really don't know, my lord. He disappeared without saying a word to anyone. Never crossed my mind he wanted to get himself killed.
I...
Silence! Keep your ignorant mouth shut when I'm giving you the benefit of a veteran's wisdom. You do what I tell you, answer only when I ask, and not go roaming off whenever you feel like it. I'd like to kick your arse back to the castle and be shut of you. But it's true, you're a fucking peasant who knows nothing about soldiering, and it's my job to whip you into shape, so I'm not done with you yet. God have mercy on you if you ever try anything like that again. If you're lucky, I'll only have you whipped and clapped in the stocks, because if I get my way, you'll be hanged for desertion. I hope we've got that out of the way, and I've made myself absolutely clear. And now, let's hear what you have to report.
I talked to Ginger and found out what happened.
Out with it, then.
Ginger fled because he recognized one of the raiders. He was afraid they'd come back to silence him.
Well, he was right. They were asking about him. So who did he recognize?
He didn't know his name. Some fellow with a limp from Ujits.
All right. Since you've gone this far, you may as well ask around in Ujits. We've enough to do here in these parts anyway. Sir Radzig will tell you about it. He said to send you to him if you haven't already been.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
My lord, I managed to find a clue to the whereabouts of the bandits.
Excellent. Bernard already told me what's been happening, but I'd like to hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
The whole story, or just the gist of it, sir?
It's up to you what you consider important.
Well, in the end, I tracked down the stable boy who fled in fear of his life, and for good reason, too. He put me on the trail of a crofter from Ujit with a limp.
And his name?
But the boy didn't know him by name, only by sight. But if I ask around, I'm sure folk will know who limps and keeps peculiar company. Villagers like to gossip.
But what if he's not there? He could have fled, maybe even to Kuttenberg.
If I don't find him in Ujits, I'll ask around. Someone will know something about him.
All right. Better go to Ujits then. Find this limping footpad and get the names of the others out of him. They have to face justice for what they did. I want to see them hang. Then bring him to me in Merhoyed, and I'll decide on his fate.
Certainly, sir.
My good man, how about a little wager?
Good day to you.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. But why not? I've taught all sorts. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschen for my trouble.
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can get started. The sooner I master it, the better.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of days so I can put you through your paces, if indeed time is of the essence.
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start. No. He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart. Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
There was something about some fellow and a goose.
Ah, well, the main thing is you've managed to read the book. The rest is just practice. Only through a careful reading will you uncover the real meaning of the text. No book is written on a mere whim and without purpose. Like I told you, books are valuable, and the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
I read the page.
So tell me, Distupule, what's written there?
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non lique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent. Well, there's nothing more I can teach you. Congratulations. You can go and be ordained right away.
Thank you, Domine. I'm feeling a lot wiser.
Good health to you.
Stop him, someone! Get him!
God be with you.
I'm looking for a fellow who lives here, but I don't know his name. Do you know anyone with a limp?
What would you want with him? Well, it's no skin off my nose. The bastard has a cottage on the edge of the village by the road to Rattay.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
If that's what you call nothing to see, I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh. Or all that's left of him.
Sacre. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
God be with you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish an end like that on any man.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
Not a clue.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. We didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
That's all. Thank you.
Good day to you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa.
I don't know nothing about it, but ask all you want.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
I didn't really know him. He kept to himself, even in the tavern.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Come to think of it, he was in church yesterday. He was even talking to the priest and went to confession. I was wondering what he was up to take to the faith all of a sudden. But I suppose no sin's too dark for God's mercy.
That's all. Thank you.
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practiced with a stick. A reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa, investigating the massacre at... Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business will be cleared up quickly.
Did you know Lubosh? What was he like?
Bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
But Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone. If people believed the sanctity of the confessional couldn't be trusted, the consequences would be even worse than that.
Worse than the death of innocent Christians? Worse than the murderer escaping punishment?
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
A tankard here!
The blessings of our Lord be...
And with you, lad. Take a seat. I'm sorry I can't tell you everything, but maybe we can work something out. But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
My pleasure.
Pour me one.
They're dead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
You think I'm too young for the job, Father?
I do, to tell the truth.
Well, I can only apologise for my lack of grey hair and gout.
Now the most important thing. What actually happened at Neuhof? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
A tankard here.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits isn't Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical, condemning vices, and of course describing them in detail. A tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days, and stories from real life with a nice moral to them are popular as well, especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison, and nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs. While Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł desej smutek, do dnielo i rano utek, niech już małżeński majstak, do wczera żył nesaje prach. Už se jí bojí svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejmě jich muži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požadem si umí jako poslední jen. Půjďme se váhy, ano rada slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž to si jako
Enough of this!
Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Wow. You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Oh, weak at their knees, have you?
You...
You'll get what for.
Help! Gods! Help! Stop that brawl! We will need...
So, my dears, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're a buffoon.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath.
And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here. Oh.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell. Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten? Where the fuck am I? What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look. From what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Well, all right. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then. What's the matter with you? We have to start mass. It's already late. What the hell? right then. Suit yourself, but don't expect any help from me. My God, why dost thou punish me? Apart from the fornication and gluttony. Usually you don't mind that.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem.
Get out of here before I throw up on you. Leave me alone.
Да. Что-то не хочет. До свидания. Шикарно. Взяла и сама вылетела. Ага. Ага. Как ваша? Отлично. Нет, хорошо. Что отлично. Прекрасно.
3 дня отрубили, мои. Пиздец.
Нормально. У меня тут задание подвело, блин. Здесь все заново нахуй. Ебашить. Вот, который все выполнял священником. Сказал он мне такой: а, ты не успел, все. Начинай все заново, блин. Ну, не без меня, спасибо. Там это немножко контентика 18+ было, поэтому я такой, ну, нахер. Ага, я сегодня недалеко. Давай, быстрее.
Hey, watch it. Be a bit more careful.
Карл. Побежали. Ран. Хотя я поставил этот чат. Скучали. Чат. Все вижу, всевидящий, блядь. Ай?
Ты говорил уже. Это ж прошлый стрим. Так что делать?
Да нет, именно положение я поставил. Я с этого, типа, с хрома.
Never show up. The swill pop. Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait. Look at
Да, ну меня вообще радует эта миссия.
any minute now will throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
And then...
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem.
Ну нахер, не будет пить.
Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who's here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where by the grace of God was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
То, что сейчас будет происходить, походу.
Сейчас же мега чтец, ёпт. Сейчас будет, блядь, серия. Так. Опять долгую проповедь. О, понятно. Ну, здесь только понятно.
Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. I am here to tell you about Mother Church and to show you through my words how she is falling into decay and abandon. How the once great mother of all Christians is losing her dignity and trading in souls like the merchants in the temple. But I am digressing.
Фрау.
The church.
Господь уловится активно, становится пригоден человек, но мог правитель мира.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
Он прав. Вау.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money. And they sell indulgences, and that's bad. Because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
Не очень-то ему помогла. Прага, блин.
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage of Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you pay enough coin to Mother Church. Look at them. They booze like hypocrites and buy expensive jewels. They servants of God. And that is not right, because Christ preached poverty. And only poverty and temperance are true virtues.
And it was almost getting interesting.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows, and he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication. And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion?
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Бля, такой дичь просто произнес Юма. Еще такой радостно стоит там.
Have you no shame, you pair of buffoons? I'll be writing to the bishop of this. For shame.
Utterly blasphemous.
Can you believe such behavior? For men of the cloth to get drunk as pigs in church?
So, is our deal still on?
Are you pulling my fucking pizzle? I couldn't have done worse myself if I'd puked on the altar.
Well, I'm no preacher.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
You can't be serious. After all that?
All what? All you making a complete hash of my sermon? You were supposed to help, not get me into even more trouble. Now I'll have the bishop on my back and all the villagers. Just leave. I need to pull myself together.
And what am I supposed to do?
Find someone else to help you.
Зашибись. Че, все, опять задание провалено. Зашибись. О, the best, ёпт. Серьезно? Really? Алло, ответь мне, мужик. Че за хрень? Алло. Братишка, ответь мне, где мне искать юбиков? Понятно. Опять надо будет переигрывать. Зашибись. Так. Знаете, что я там выбирал? Первый и последний, да?
What is it? What? Hmm?
Погнали, давай, быстрей.
Damn.
Какие-то задания. Капец. Веселое, но непроходимое что-то. Не хочет оно проходиться. По брику. Так.
Ну нафиг тебе по брику.
А, чтобы это, да, все типы, все строчки, да, пробовать. Узнать, какая точно подойдет.
Ну да.
Так.
Что ты больше времени на игру потратил?
Неправда.
How the wants.
Понятно, это провал. Так. Господь стоит в голове, да.
He's right.
Он прав. Так.
It is the plague, and it is all they think sin.
Так. Грешить свойственно человеку.
It is let it he.
Now that's the kind.
No, for there should be.
Ты одно и то же выбираешь. В прошлый раз что в этот?
А в этот раз они потому что...
Enough about sin. And who's absolute?
Но это другое.
Look at them. And.
Сейчас узнаем. В том числе и богату.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Так, ну глянем сейчас, что из этого выйдет.
Have you no shame, you pair of buffoons? I'll be writing to the bishop of this.
So, is our deal still?
Блин.
Тебе надо правильно выбрать там, где ты выбираешь, типа эти, где символы там вот эти.
А, чё, смысл я их там выбираю-то? У меня там единственное прокачанное, только красноречие, и то даже не помогает.
Другие про... Где он пишет, вот этот провал, это плохо.
Ну, это
должен типа писать успех.
Вот. Рыгает ему. Я еще тут бабки должен. В этом городе.
Ты что?
Да я ж там накостылял. Чувачкам, которые на священника напали. Накостылял и бабки теперь должен. Почему-то. Никому я ничего не должен, ребята. О, так. Сейчас поехали опять пробовать. наверное, начинать проповедь. Или начать скромно проповедь. Как лучше?
Ну, я не помню, что ты выбирал просто.
Я здесь все только чисто красноречие выбирал.
Ну, попробуй что-нибудь другое теперь.
Ну, давай, уверенно начать.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
Так, Господь стоит в главе. Это у нас правильно. Так, теперь должен продолжать суровым тоном, продолжить скромным тоном. Давай, суровым.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, humans, hunger, and chaos. The accursed well, when dogs are... They show no... You want to baptize...
For shame! Shame upon that!
It is the... Let us remember... He...
Now that...
No! For there should be...
He's right.
И продолжить суровым тоном под конец.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
Ну ничего, здесь надо защищать богату, по сути.
God see, bless. That is all I...
О, все, зашибись. Зашло. Ну, хлопайте, ё-моё. Задумались.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that huss.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague. We told him nicely.
Well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah,
I wasn't the only one.
Well, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too.
John?
The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledetsko. Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledetsko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing.
Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business, and I'd like to raise a tankard.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
В самом начале игры. Ну, точнее, как в прологе. Как скажется, возвращаюсь. Типа, похоронить родителей, там приходят разбойники, вот. И вот лысый, который у меня забрал. Опа, игра сохранена. Ну ничего себе. Давай, найди других разбойников.
Ты от Мармока посмотрел этот Kingdom Come-то?
Чё?
Kingdom Come от Мармока посмотрел?
Нет.
Глянь. Угарная тема.
Да, я не смотрю, что он там угарно сделает. Я, кстати, знаю, почему у меня проблема.
С чем?
С оружием. Почему я их так долго дубасил. Тут видишь, что здесь, короче, вот есть минимальная сила и есть ловкость еще к умению, как им пользоваться. А у меня-то ловкость
не вкачана.
Ну, теперь вкачана. Теперь вкачана. Ну и то даже не полностью. Надо типа как-то орудовать, что ли, научиться. А, у меня сейчас -2, потому что это я потом. Так, сейчас надо общий сначала качнуть лазутчик. Так, это я вкачал, это я не буду вкачивать. Все.
Я что-то вчера начал стримить этот Warface. Чувак ко мне заходит и пишет: у тебя стрим лагает, нахер ты это стримишь? Стримишь, у тебя стрим лагает.
Ну, написал ему: да ну нахер.
И там с микро сидел. Я говорю: бля, не хочешь, не смотри.
Чувак, ну у тебя стрим лагает, зачем ты это стримишь? Просто. Сложилось тогда. О, вы следите.
Он типа мне написал там это: измени этот битрейт. Ну и выходное значение, это разрешение. Что я изменил, ничего не изменилось. Как лагал, так и лагает. Ну главное, где-то местами лагает.
Понятно.
Не тянет компьютер, не тянет.
Так, интересно, я вообще дойду? А, не, куда пешком-то? Ты чё, ёпта, Вася? Алло, остановись, окстись. Ты не дойдешь. Как отменить? What the fuck?
Пошел.
О, это пиздец. Могу надеяться, что он дойдет, бля.
Кстати, вот когда замеряли длину карты вот в этой игре, да?
Ну.
Они шли чисто, ну, сами пешком.
Ну, я знаю, да.
И пока они шли, на них ни разу никто не напал.
А здесь мало разбойников. Здесь пока ты сам на них не захочешь наткнуться, ты не наткнешься.
Не, они когда ты вот быстро путешествуешь, они тоже на тебя нападают.
Я не знаю, я здесь только встретил каких-то чувачков и все. Рандомных. Ну этих как их, бля, типа встречных. О, красиво. Сейчас посмотрим, как зато прокладывали. Видел, да?
God be with you, Henry.
Мощно.
Прогрузочки.
Ну куда деваться? Мне надо поспать. Это по-любому. Мне надо поспать с родничком. Все оружие починить, блядь. Хуй здорово. Баблищ тебе это много. Пока что. Денежки. Мани.
I'll be with you.
Ну что-то попробовал-то?
Чё?
Что-нибудь. Тоже
Варфрейм, да, я попробовал, я успел. Потом у меня упал инет. Все.
Кто Варфрейм успел попробовать?
Да.
А этот не пробовал еще Fortnite?
Не говорю, инет упал. А потом чисто вот в Skyrim засел и все.
Так. Все.
Такие дела.
Так, блин, надо эти, кажется, сокровища пособирать. Там прикольные ништячки есть. Сейчас, где там лошадь-то? Так, лошадь. Так, стоп, лошадь. 62, ловкость, силы. О.
В Скайриме вообще лошадь хрен пойми откуда взялась. И она то есть, то ее нету.
Ну вот это поворот.
Да, я просто что-то какого-то города был, смотрю, о, лошадь. Ну сел на нее, ну поехал. И это... Типа, приехал, у города ее оставил, пошел в сам город, там что-то, квесты, вся херня. Выхожу из города, нету лошади. Потом думаю, ладно, хрен с ним. Делаю быстрое перемещение. Опа, опять лошадь появилась. Ты че, это хрень?
Она умеет просто пыхаться без тебя.
И с напарниками та же херня. Что-то бегал за мной. Хоп, пропал куда-то. Это хрен с тобой, он вообще толку оттянул все равно. Потом уже там что-то миссии 3 выполнил. Стрёп появилась. Ну здорово.
Куда ты давай правую? Так. Броня 1. Нахер. Хвами 2 перчатки. Тоже пиздых. Через сломлей продам. Так, 1. Коричневые шоссы. Шоссы. Какие-то шоссы. Так, короткий. Это что у нас? Ага, вот это получше будет, да. Это хрень. Значит, нахер хрень эту. Она вместо нее делается. Не знаю, вместо чего. Значит, да. Это наденем. Так, халатные. Ого, вот это у меня что есть-то, а? Колпак. Циркушка ходячая, ёпта. Так. Ага, я думаю, куда я их дел. Так. Что у нас? Это у нас дерьмо. Это что у нас? Туника, нахуй. Нахуй. Точно комбинезон.
Что-то Warframe они все равно это перевели, но ни хера там не понятно.
А я тебе говорил.
Что у меня там осталось? Че это? Че? Чем? Разбираться надо. Хотя бы не лагает.
Ну это да, это хорошо. О, уже хоть как-то приоделся. Уже неплохо. Братишка, дайте продам всякая хрень. Так, продать. Оружие на спехе. Нахер, это тоже нахер. Подожди, я что не найдел? В смысле? Я не помню, что я еще надел-то. Вот она. Так, стоп, это получается эта херня, что ли? Блин, жалко, здесь нельзя. Как? Какой вид там? Хлам. Как в Assassin's Creed, что люди здесь там можно набирать. Короче, выбираешь по кнопке хлам и все. Потом ты это можешь продать сразу с первого раза, что тебе не надо, и до свидания. Все это как-то проще. А, у меня охотничий. Все. Давай, братишка, быстрее. Торговаться, продать, пихи, нахер. Тоже нахер. Нахрен. Так, можете еще и пищу какую-нибудь забагрить. Вон яблочки. Знаешь, что самая беда?
Чем?
Я остался без последнего шнапса. Его просто больше нет.
Юля покупает нужно, наверное. Что, либо там крафтится, либо покупается, да?
Да. Хорошо, это чтобы крафтить, надо сначала книжку купить, узнать, как его крафтить. О, 48 копеек, ёпта, получил. Нормально. Я согласен. Так. Что-то я тут завис у кузнеца. Это нормально, ладно. Это ремонт. Ремонт нужен. Сейчас мне все починит. Будет красавчиком. Все. Красавчик. Должно сейчас быть и все по сутки. А нет. Стоп, а это все железное, а где он это все остальное чинится? Ну-ка, не понял. Это мне надо кому идти? К портному, что ли? Сапожник. Да ладно. Серьезно? Не сапожник, ёпта. Соседний, блин. Весело. Как раз здесь надо у каждого будет сходить. Чиниться. Так странно. Ай, сапожник, здорово.
What have you come to get?
Серьезно, у тебя есть ремонт? Давай, мужик, давай. Скажи мне что-нибудь интересное. Удиви меня.
And do drop by again.
А, да, и правда. Прикол.
Чё?
Надо у каждого ученица, блядь. К портному. Понятно. Ну да. Как я понял, надо идти к портному. Или подожди. А если вообще портной-то есть? Оружейник, броник. А, да, есть портной есть. Портной есть. Портной. Ты как в понедельник киношку поешь?
Чё? Чё за движ, которого я...
А?
Чё за движ, о котором я не знаю?
Ну вот, я только что сейчас я тебе сказал.
Во сколько ты хочешь пойти?
Он идется вместо широки.
Good day to you.
Вместо широки. Да что ты хотел пойти?
Да, на что еще и там идти-то? Ну то, что выходит.
Да потом с вами. Нет, ты прям сам пойдешь.
Ну, не даже ты сам. Там еще человек будет. Ну, все по сутки. Да, где-то лошадь. И брат, ты где? О, мега лошадь.
Не, вряд ли.
А чё это?
Да мозги ебать будут.
Чё?
Мозги ебать будут.
Кто?
Шампанье.
Ну да. Тебе кто-нибудь тебе вообще что-нибудь сказал? О, да, мощно они мозги ему, да? Взорвали. Эй, халупа родная. Ну, конечно, не моя, но не суть. Так. Есть надо. Надо. Так, теперь поспать. Сколько тебе надо так? О, я бы до ночи спать целых. Ну, здесь, конечно, долго этот циферблат, конечно, крутится. Очень долго. Ну, еще так, знаешь, специально сейчас будет начать тормозить, так, оп. А, типа, там, ох, там, прям тужится, прям, чтобы быстрее это время наступило. Не, ну зачем так делать? Оп. Где моя энергия? Сотка, во. Игра сохранена. Прекрасно. Еще спать.
Больше спать.
Да не, может, с утречка пойти. Все. Да, хрен ночью бегать. Там вообще еще кого-то и не будет. Вот так все. Проснусь и такой, опа, не готов.
Единственное, что скорее не бесит, ты когда тоже ложишься спать, или же ждешь, просто мотаешь время. НПСы где стояли, там и стоят. То есть вообще похер. То, что там прошло 8 часов, я тут же стоял на этом месте.
Не, ну здесь то же самое. Как бы так.
Нет, здесь вроде нет.
Ну, они не будут стоять. Это только ты будешь стоять на месте. А их уже не будет.
Ну вот. Об этом и речь. Что ты будешь стоять на месте. НПС, они уйдут. Эти боты уйдут. А в Скайриме эти боты стоят. Типа, да пух.
Поехали. Сивка. Сивка-бурка, ёпт. Так, куда мне там? Ого. Это недалеко. Ну, ладненько. Хотя бы какие-нибудь моды по полу поставь. Скорее, чем ее в одно и то же играть.
Да, что там ставить?
Там же есть...
Я поставил себе мод на детализированную карту и все. Мне норм.
Детализированную карту. Что ж там изменилось, то детализированная карта?
Дороги все видно.
Вот это да! Вот это ты прям мощно! Детализированная карта, да? Круто.
А чё остальное там, бред, там в топе моды на графику?
Не на графику, там на дополнительные квесты, там же есть здоровые, которые там нравится.
Не знаю, всякие скины, там, оружие, что-то звуки, графика. Я только это находил. Что дальше копаться мне как-то впадло было. Надо его найти, почитать. Мне кажется, такого... Не, я знаю, там выходил один мод. Прям там, что ли, на 30 часов. Чуваки запарились, прям делали. С озвучкой, да, что-нибудь.
Ну, в пещеру, да, там где-то, в которую уходишь?
Ну, не знаю. Где там с водопада тебе нужно прыгнуть. Вот это фигня.
А, не, я видел там с этим, с пещерой. Ну, куплю его даже, как выкладывал, проходил. Это дополнение. Просто мод. Так, прикольненький. Так, где мне тут спросить про Вонючку? Вонючка, ты где, брат? Где люди-то? О, просыпайтесь. Погнали, мясник. Мужик должен знать дело.
Good day to you.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Do you know him?
Riki? You mean Hinnick, the
прям
courier's
четко
son?
нашел чувака.
Maybe. Do you know where I might find him?
He's not usually around here. Try asking at his home, but I hope you got a thick skin. The old courier ain't exactly charming.
Вообще огонь.
Why do they call Hinnick Riki anyway?
He's a tanner, isn't he? If you're ever downwind of him, you'll understand. Tanning isn't a trade for the weak of stomach.
True enough, but not every courier gets cursed with a name like that.
Well, Hinnick's nature's no sweeter than his smell.
Понятно. Изи. Найдено. Дело. Вот вышка. Ё-моё. Вот так. Братан, я к тебе пришел. Открывай халупу. Иди сюда, ёпт. Я взял, присел. Гусиным шагом. Давай, братан, побазарим. Давай побазарим. Так.
Good day to you. What do you need?
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Have you ever heard of him?
Sure. Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Hinnick.
Ah, you wouldn't happen to know where he is, would you?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
Hinnick shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Я не знаю, это, наверное, ожег или так выглядит.
Your son is about to get into deep shit.
Не прогрузилось.
I'm trying to find him so I can warn him.
That's nothing new. He's always up to his ears in it.
But this time his neck's on the block. He got mixed up with some very dangerous people. I have to find him.
All right. He was here a few days ago, but he left right away.
Progress.
He looked like he was in a hurry.
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly.
I don't follow.
Hinnick makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Thank you. Don't you have any clue at all where his hideout could be?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from there, is all.
How's that?
Because every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
Он хочет сходить на шоу «Кто хочет стать миллионером».
Чего?
Да. Гонорар за ваше участие 700 рублей.
О, что я там буду хлопать? Вот так, да? Прекрасно.
Да.
Да.
Ну вот смотри, 26-27 февраля приглашаем всех желающих в возрасте 18-65 лет на собственный ток-шоу «Кто хочет стать миллионером» со звездами шоу бизнеса. Ведущий Дмитрий Дебров. Гонорар за участие 700 рублей за каждый съемочный день. По окончании съемки. Одежда. Все в темных тонах с участием света. Встречаем. Проходная Мосфильма в 10:00. Табличка Светлана Максим. Проезд Петро Киевская кольца, далее 18:34 до остановки. Везде на окончании 22:30 плюс-минус перерыв. С собой взять, попить, перекусить. Телефон не записываем. Запись на месте по факту или через WhatsApp по номеру. Заявки указать название проекта, дату, фи, возраст, контактный телефон. Справки по телефону, если у вас такие вопросы. Приезжаешь, короче, сидишь 2 дня, тебе 1,5 кэса на руку.
1,5 кэса. Так, блин. Где мне тут искать-то в лесу, блин? В лес ебать. Отгрузилась. Так. Какова вероятность, что я его найду в лесу? Ну давайте, ёпты, лошадь, блядь.
Грыкинг ищет сотрудников.
Чего? Грыкинг? Ага.
Кассир от 35, повар от 35, ночной уборщик от 30.
Ночной уборщик. Серьезно.
Я вот не знаю, что за ночной уборщик.
Ну это ночной уборщик. Логично же. Разве нет? Паровоз, что ли, смотришь?
Да так, что высветился просто. В ленте.
Ага. Эй-эй-эй.
Is there anything you'd like to buy?
Опа, здорово, мужичок.
What is it?
Давай побазарим.
What'll it be? I don't want to buy anything, thanks. Very well then, some other time.
Бля, это... Бля... Я нашел чувачка. Ну я же нашел чувачка. А чё он мне никакой инфу не сказал? Ну так неинтересно. Так, а где тут еще можно поискать-то? Вот какие-то неисследованные места. Сейчас немножко еще тусуюсь, если не найду-то. Ой. Это... Fortnite. Алхимия. Зашибись. Ратуйте. Так, еще тут еще есть. Нам. А сюда что Давай ты, лошадка, да ёб твою мать. О, какая мощная лошадка-то. А иди ты нахрен. Лошадь, слушайся меня.
Это всю ту, которую тебе дали?
Да. Я больше и менять не собираюсь, чё я?
Если убьют.
А?
Если убьют.
А, если убьют, ну тогда придется. Там уже без вариантов. Эй, путник. Путник, стой.
Are you serious?
Сейчас с вами разговаривать не хочешь.
Be a bit more careful.
Ой, девочку. Не хочешь с ним разговаривать. Так. Какой-то... О, лесорубы. Прикол. Какой-то лагерь. А, да, же есть лесорубы. Больше ничего не знаю. Лесоруб. Здорово. Это ненормально.
Hey!
Да поговори со мной. О. Где все-то? Что никто не хочет разговаривать? Вы чё, ёпта? Здесь нахерачу всем. Работяги. Занятые люди. Не то, что некоторые, да? Ну, капец. Сам охуй. Ну ладно. А как же мне тогда... Стоп. А сохранение где у меня было? А вот это уже интересный вопрос. Не, так дело не пойдет. Нет, тут лекарь. Надо там. Нужно взять снадобье. Шалапс спасительный. Иначе это будет фиаско. Так. Мне тут коленщик.
Это фиаско, братан.
Конечно, это полная фиаско. Нет, тут не был-то. Ага. Лекарь. Мне нужен лекарь. Купец. А у купца не может быть. Наверное, нет. О, мясник. Может быть, купец. Купец, ты где? Ага. Вот. Братишка. Здесь спасительный шнапс. Мята. Одна мята, что ты одну мяту подаешь? Мятный магнат. Вонючка. Понятно, никто не знает, где вонючка.
Мята.
Блин, не донажал. Пища. Во. Шибись. 40 штучки. О, нихера себе. А чё так много, брат, их? В данном случае не зажрался, алло. Ну, нет, здесь по-любому торговаться идет.
Can we do something about the problem? Sure, why not?
Нихера ты хочешь.
Мне,
Так.
кстати, в Warface опять косарь корон просто так прилетел вчера.
Да ты читер ебаный.
Ты сам нахер... Ты что?
Well,
Просто такой бег избиваю эти награды, хуяк, плюс 1000 корон. Что, блядь?
Aye, that would do it.
Там, кстати, что-то по моим жалобам, что-то человека 3 что ли забанили.
Ну все, ты запомни, тебя услышали.
Да, все, мне надо в тестировщики брать, короче.
Ребята в тестировщики.